Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationships, Sunday night at 9. I am your host, Coach Glenda, here with Mr. Carpenter. We have another amazing topic for tonight. Actually, it's a piggyback from last week. It was requested that we do a part 2. So I am very happy that I feel as if the participants are really enjoying our topics. I also want to let you know that the handout for tonight is in the chat, as well as I always encourage everyone to join our Facebook page. It's under Glenda Driver, and you'll see the Reset to Healthier Relationships banner in the background. And before we get started off with our topic, I want to allow Mr. Carpenter to introduce himself and to share a little bit about his background.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome again to Sunday Night at 9. My name is Rufus Carpenter, and I come to this space a little different than most. My background is more so I came from a big family, and we was in a 3-bedroom house with only 1 bathroom. And if you ever slept with 4 of your siblings and one is occasional bedwetter, you know exactly what I'm talking about, knowing the human connection. You learn very fast what it is to share and share with others. Also, I was married 27 years, and in 27 years of marriage, I learned the thing about commitment, trust, compromise, and integrity. And these are the things, not necessarily the things you need for a successful marriage, but these are the things you need for the human relationship. Being in a relationship takes a lot, and these are some of the qualities that's needed. Also, I was 20 years in the military, and a good part of that, I was what's called a race relation NCO and leader. And what that was about was taking care of any relationship issues in our unit. I was the first to go in and do the initial intake and decide who had the responsibility for fixing that issue. So I feel very versed, and I'm very honored to be here tonight on Mother's Day, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. I'm very honored to be here to represent the male perspective of the night. Okay, that's me.
And I forgot to mention, I wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies that's online tonight. I hope you had a wonderful day, that you were treated like the queens that you really are. Now, tonight's topic is critical questions for romantic relationships. Sounds like another good one to me. Mr. Carpenter?
Yes, as you see, first I want to say welcome to all the mothers that's here, and glad to have you, the mothers, the grandmothers, the aunties, the sisters, and the bonus mothers. We're glad to have you all here tonight, because I know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a mother. So you do great things. And then if you're a praying mother and a praying grandmother who has established that legacy for your family, then that's a major thing. We definitely need that, because there's a lot of songs about a praying grandmother. A praying grandmother can change the situation and the trajectory of your family. So we salute you if that's who you are. So welcome aboard. Now tonight, we have a continuation of last week's subject, and last week's subject was exploring fundamental questions for a successful partnership. And what we did tonight is we tweaked it just a little bit, because we covered a lot last week. And I want to catch everybody up that wasn't here. I want to catch you up. But tonight's subject is going to be the twist of that, the critical questions for a romantic relationship. Because last week we talked about partnership, but we all know this is a forum. This forum is where 20 of you and your girlfriends are in your living room, and everything is cozy, warm setting, where you guys are talking about relationships, and you have the chance to speak your truth. You can open up. It's a safe place. You can vent, you can say some of the things that you have concerns with in your relationships, and then others can chime in and they can help you. They can share what they did or didn't do, and you may be able to walk away with some gems that help you negotiate your future relationships. Okay, because whenever you talk about relationships, there's always ups and downs. No relationship goes smooth up and uphill climb, smooth. All relationships have an ebb and flow. You get the good, the bad, and if you did the homework on the front end, then that ebb and flow is mostly going up. But if you didn't do the homework on the front end, that ebb and flow goes down. And we want to give you the tools to make sure that you enjoy a great relationship of love, understanding, passion, and all these things. Now, if Glenda told you already, she put in the chat the study guide for tonight. And if you look at that study guide, it's labeled Sunday nights at 9 p.m. and it's the critical questions for romantic relationship. In that, Glenn and I are giving you a peek under the hood on how we counsel people when they come to us and ask, say, hey, look, me and my boo, we're together and we want some support to help our relationship grow, because they know they need some type of mentorship or some type of role model to follow. And they come to me and Glenda. And in that, you're going to see how we do that, how we set up the couple together, we set them together, and we ask simple questions. And the questions are real easy. And if you go through it and want to ask some questions about that format, we'll be more than happy to answer that. Let's get into the night. Ready? Everybody ready to roll up the sleeves and talk about last week? Last week was a barn burner. Oh, goodness gracious. With exploring fundamental questions for a successful relationship, we started out with 4 basic questions. Now, we left out one. It should have been 5 last week, but we only did 4. So the 4 words, the very first one was, what do you want from me? And that was like a clarifying question. That was focused on personal qualities. Oh, I messed up already. Oh, Jesus, I messed up already. The first one was what you want from me, and that's a clarity expectation and to prevent misunderstandings. So I was going to give you number 2 out the gate. I think last week I gave number 1 and Glenda thought I was doing number 2. This week I was doing number 2 thinking I'm doing number 1. So we even, Glenda. The very first one is, what do you want from me in a partnership? What are the things you're looking for? And you want clarification, because if you know anything about the 5 stages of romance or mating, you know the first thing you got to do is you got to decide what it looks like. What are you in? So what are some of the things? And we had some interesting things that went about. As a matter of fact, Angela, glad to see you on the line. Because we had Angela make it plain on the line, and she wanted to make sure that we came back and revisit this all over again. And I'm glad you did that, Angela, because we did run through it kind of fast last week. And this week, we're going to slow it down a little bit. So what you want from a partner, that's clarification statements. What do you want? Do you want a traditional role? Do you want somebody to be your boo, mean a partnership that, you both want to decide how y'all want to live together? What do you want on that? That's the first thing we said. And as a matter of fact, I think Mildred even came out and said some things about that. Is Mildred said something about, she mentioned about if you in a relationship and you guys haven't did anything formal and one of you die, the other one don't have any say if the person have children. If the person have children, their children come in and say what's to be done, not you. You might have lived with this joker a long time or been a partner with this joker, but if you never married or did anything formal, you don't have any say. When that person dies, he or she dies, their children has the responsibility to determine what that going after looks like. And that was something that she really wanted us to bring out again and let you know that. So if you're going to be in a partnership with somebody, and I think Glenda even said that she'll never shack. And so we're not talking about shacking at this point, but we're talking about if you're in a partnership with somebody, what that partnership looks like for you. Okay? All right, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 was from last week, what do you want of me? And this focus on personal qualities and the value each partner brings to the partnership. What each partner brings to the partnership, what do you bring? Do you bring a lot of knowledge? Did you bring a lot of support? What do you actually bring? And if you guys are together, especially when you first look at that partnership, you first have to realize something. If we're coming together as a partnership, what do you bring? Meaning, what does that partnership looks like? I, on the other end, have to value what you're bringing. If what you bring in is a good match for what we're trying to do, then we have a successful partnership. If what you're bringing is not a good match for what I want, or what the relationship needs, then it's not a good match. It's not a good partnership. And if you know anything about, once again, the 5 stages of a relationship, you know the second stage is uncertainty. The second stage is when you start doing your investigation. You start investigating, hey, you start seeing this person, the true person begin to show in that second stage. And this is that question Annette wanted us to ask is, what do you want of me? What qualities? And last week we said, hey, if you bring a lot of baggage, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And I think Angela even brought up some things about she wants to know clear. She wants you to come and put everything out there. And she wants to know everything that's in front of her, so she can make a decision with her eyes wide open whether she accepts it or not. Am I right?
Right. That's correct.
Okay. Now, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Explain that, Angela, in detail for a little bit more so we got it. Because last week you were very, 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 very clear with what you were saying.
Okay, let me see. Well, coming to the relationship, honesty, and both coming from past relationships, I don't want it to be like you still got these strings attached and like you're on a puppet from former relationships. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I think 3 episodes ago, you guys accused me of going back, always dipping back in relationships. y'all read me out of here. I still got a bitter taste in my mouth from that week. So I think, Andrew, you said something about looking backwards, about a rearview mirror or something back then.
You can't see where you're going looking backwards. But you do have to deal with that. So, you got to be honest up front where you are, and then you got to deal with it if you want to move forward.
Yes, we got Annette. You on the line, Annette. Explain what you meant when you wanted us to talk about what you want of me.
Okay, so when I think and saying, what do you want of me? I'm like saying, okay, so what do you need me to do? What do you need? What do you need? Do you need me to wash your dishes? Do you want me to just be home when you come home? Do you need me to stand in the gap for you, for your children? What is it you want of me? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to just be your sex toy? What do you want? Make it clear to me that I really want you for this specific thing, or I'm expecting this of you. I need you to do this. I need your money. I need you to handle our bills as far as making the payments. I'm gonna bring the money home, but you pay them. I just need to know, what do you want of me to do? That's the way I look at it.
Wow, Anna,
What part do you want me to play in the relationship? Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Angela. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut across you. I apologize, Angela.
What part do you want me to play in the relationship, or as my role?
Correct. That's it. That's it.
Everybody has a role, and if everybody worked their role, the mother, the father, the children, the stepchildren, or whatever, what's my role that you're expecting of me, and vice versa.
You put that so perfect. That's exactly right.
I'm glad you said it, Angela, and you mentioned the kids, because a lot of times in a partnership and relationship, especially because all of us we're old. We're all of us at that 30 years plus. Some of us 30, some 40, some 50, some 60, some 70. So we are at the age we are now, we're going to have some type of baggage, or we're going to have some type of kids or children, or some form of fashion, whether they're grandkids or whatever they are. So a lot of times when you put together a blended family, everybody gets a chance to make a decision. Everybody gets in a leadership place somewhere in that family sometimes. Because, for instance, if you want to go on vacation, you got small kids, the small kids sometimes make the decision where we want to go, mom and dad. They say, mom and dad, we want to go to Disney or whatever. And then they kind of take the lead. And then for things, let's say if the roof needs to be repaired, the husband take the lead. Let's say if we need a new carpet and a new chair in the living room, the wife take the lead. This is how a healthy family works and operates, and a partnership operates as a healthy family. So it's not that the man always have to be the head or the woman always have to be the head. It had to be a fluid type of relationship to be successful. And that's what a modern relationship is today. So that husband make all decisions, I don't think that's the norm for the day. Okay? All right, let's any other question before we move on to the next topic? That was
I would like to say I like how you explained that, because that's excellent, because that makes a major difference. The thing of it is can we actually communicate that? That's what it is. We should not try to. We should always try to communicate that.
And that's why we put the flyer in there today, in there that with critical questions of a romantic relationship. And when Glenda and I sat down with a couple, that's what we talk about. We have some questions, we have them to talk, and we have them to talk open and honest, and we try to bring these things up so at least they're covered one time. They heard themselves say it one time. So when you get in a relationship, it's too late when you begin to drown and you're in over your head to try to figure out where we went wrong. You have to address it on the front end. When you and that person begin to realize that you have something serious and they're a keeper, and which that's the next topic, as a matter of fact, when you decide they're a keeper and you want to go forward, you want to have already asked some of these questions. So when these problems arrive, you already got something to work. You already got some kind of way to handle these conflicts. Because to be honest with you, I don't want to be connected with nobody never been through nothing. Because
Right.
you've never been through nothing, you can't help me.
Absolutely.
When we go through hard times and trouble, you're gonna look at me talking about what we're gonna do. I need you to bail someone out too, girl. I need you to hold your end. So you got to have been through something, because you got to know how to hold your end up. Because a lot of times when people never been through nothing, it's a shock when things don't go right. So you need, so sometimes going through some stuff is not always bad. Sometimes going through some stuff teach you some valuable lessons. In business, they say you fail forward. Some people say wish they had failed more so they had been further up the road, so they have get more learning, more understanding. Relationships are some of the same way. Okay. Any question before we move to the next topic under this? Okay. What's the comment? Next topic is, what is a keeper mode? What traits identify a person that value? Somebody that you realize, I can't let this person go no matter what. They may be a butthole over here. They may have this issue. They may have raggedy teeth, or whatever it is, but I am not gonna let this person go. What are some of the traits that you think that would make a person be a keeper? Ain't nobody said nothing. What's
How
up?
they handle their finances.
Okay, somebody can handle their finances. If the money's right, they right.
Well,
Just say.
I won't say that exactly, but the way they handle, their finances. Sometimes you have to know that, even though you like doing something, like if you're a big time spender on like Michael Kors or Gucci or all these name brand products, you sometimes it gets to a point where, oh, I'm not going to be able to make that purchase this time, even though it's something I want, because I have this bill that needs to be paid, or I need to get ahead on this because I don't want to incur any late charges, or whatever the case may be. But someone that knows how to handle their finances. Everybody know how to go to work and bring home a paycheck, but what you do with that money when it comes in is a totally different story. I used to date a guy, before he paid his rent, he went out and bought a whole bunch of electronics. I was like, so how's your rent gonna get paid? I mean, he knew how to go to work, but he just didn't know how to prioritize his responsibilities. So, I need someone that knows how to manage his finances. Sometimes one job is not gonna cut it. And you can't come to me and ask me for money all the time, because I'm not BB&T and I'm not Bank of America. I don't have a ATM machine at my front door. I need you to know how, okay, even if it's not for a long period of time, you need to know how to go pick up another job. Because I've worked 4 jobs at one time just to make sure I kept the roof over my head and made sure I had my basic necessities. So a man, since he's supposed to be the head according to the Bible, he needs to know how to go out there and provide for his family, even if it means going out there and doing something that I don't want to do, like work a second job.
Okay, Andre, chime in with your chat, Andre, because I think it's very important what you just said.
Which one? Because me and Glenda didn't have a couple of
Paying
conversations.
the rent.
Oh, so basically, you all said you want him to tell you what role that he wants you to play. Maybe he was indirectly letting you know the role he needed you to play was the one that was paying the bills.
He needs to communicate that.
Okay.
He needs me to pay the bills, or he gonna give me the money to pay the bills?
Well, you said that he was buying electronics, so he was indirectly letting you know I'm weak in paying the bills, so I need you to do that.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. And I'm gonna go ahead and respond to that right now. When I told him what he was doing wrong, it just went out the door. His mind was so set that this is what I wanted. So, that relationship didn't last too long.
And that's important. That's an important fact. And that's handled in that uncertainty stage of a relationship, because his priorities was his short term. He didn't look long term. He didn't look as a relationship what the relationship needed. He looked what he wanted. So he was more selfish in the fact that he satisfied what he needed up front. And he felt since he worked and made his own money, he could do that. But that wasn't supporting the relationship. He didn't bring the value to the relationship you wanted. So like you say, Glenda, that relationship just didn't work.
Right.
Just didn't work. He needed to go find somebody to let him do that, or he need to stay by himself doing that.
Right.
That's why it's so Go ahead, Angela.
No, I'm saying most of the time when they're like that, they want their basic necessities, like their mortgage or rent, paid by somebody else, and they want to be able to do what they want with their finances. Yeah. I've been in that predicament.
Yes.
I'm not nobody's sugar mama.
Right. They're refusing to grow up, sit down at the table. And that's the first thing that their mother should have taught them. I thought, I'm not your mother.
Exactly.
With her.
That's a good subject to bring up Mother's Day. A lot of mothers nurture their children, and some over nurture. Some mothers feel that they have responsibility for taking care of their grown kids like they were their young kids, and they don't know when to let go. A lot of times, it's a great mom. You're a great mom in the fact that you do care and want to support your kids, but there's a time when a child needs to be let go and learn the benefit of their choices, whether they're good choices or bad choices. The child needs to feel the full weight. So a lot of times when a mother or a father don't let their children feel this full weight when they become adult, it cripples them when they get a relationship with a real woman or real man. Because
absolutely,
woman a real man and they can't carry their weight, then someone has to make a decision. The woman or the man have to let this person stay with them until they grow up and mature, and then they can have a better relationship, or they just got to push them off to somebody else and move on.
Yeah.
Run like Forrest. Yeah, you do have to run like Forrest. I had to come to the conclusion, I can't see myself stuck like this for 20 years. This is ridiculous. So at 16, I called a halt to the night.
You said 16 years?
Well, 16 years of marriage, but 33 years total.
Understand.
So, like, enough is enough. My God.
And that's why we came up with this forum tonight, this forum of Sunday nights at 9, because a lot of this stuff goes on even today. And a lot of ladies and gentlemen don't feel they can get out. They don't know how to get out. They don't know where to get the advice of getting out. Because a lot of people stay in their four walls and they're afraid to ask for help, and they don't want anybody to know that they're struggling in their marriage or their relationship. So we came up with this form so you can actually look at something like this and you can get that information. Because a lot of times in the Black community, we don't have any ways of getting this. A lot of churches don't teach this. The two areas in our life where we mess up the most, relationships and finances and money, the churches aren't talking about it. A lot of our parents aren't talking about it. So where do you get that information in our community? And that's why Glenda decided to step up with her Sunday night at 9, and I'm glad to partner with her and bring this information to you, because we got to get this information out. There's so much information out there that you can become a part of and help in your situation. We all need help. Every marriage or relationship needs some type of mentorship, whether it's your mother, father that you go to, whether you go to your preacher, whether you go to counseling, or whether you just listen to some stuff, or however you get your mentorship, or how you learn. Because if you didn't see it in your house, if it's not part of your attachment styles, and you didn't get it as a young person, you have to get that. And I've heard a lot of ladies say, I'm not teaching nobody else. I'm not going to teach you how to be a husband.
No, I'm not.
Right. Well, listen, I have a friend, an associate, whatever you might want to call them.
Huh?
But they're still in that predicament. Okay, and I'm just thinking, okay, now you getting a chance to start all over. But they still back at square one, so much to the point that now the girl says, no, you got to go. Because if you can't help me with this, we done moved and this is the mortgage, and if you don't have enough to give me this, you can't stay here. So sometimes some of these men are not getting the lesson. They're up in their 60s and they still stuck. And to me, that's the saddest thing.
Yes, it
and
is.
I get wondering, like, girl, you should have told me. I tell you, the first wife is never your enemy. They can shed some light. That's not your enemy.
I apologize.
That's cool.
She's
That's
not
cool.
She's not your enemy.
That's good.
She's not your enemy. And don't look at me being mad. If you had asked, or if you wanted me to share, I still would have been nice about it, and you had to figure it out, some of it. But you would have got enough information to know you wouldn't be where you are today.
Yeah.
But there's nothing I could do with it.
A lot of people think love is all you need to make it in a relationship.
No.
Love me, just love me, and I love you. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna have this best relationship. It's gonna be like they do on TV. We're gonna fade out into the sunset, and everything and all our dreams are gonna be fulfilled and met. In real life, it don't work like that.
No, it doesn't. Because I had to make it.
Go ahead, Angela.
I'm sorry, but I had to make it clear. You don't have a right to stay in nobody's apartment or nobody's house if you're not going to pay the rent or you're not going to pay the mortgage. You bring your portion here, and if you can't, you got to hit the road, Jack. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and it's real. I went through that.
They feel like if their name is not on the lease or on the deed, it's like, you were paying it before I got here. Oh, I'm glad you brought that to my attention, Deuce.
But we were married, and the name was on it. But
he didn't want to pay no money.
Buy a suit first. Well, you better go.
Oh, no, we can't have it. And then he wanted all the respect as the head of the household. Oh.
But anyway, I'm just saying, we got some situations out here.
And that's why some settings like this is so important. So important, because you have to be the role model for your children now. You have to be the role model for the younger generation. You don't have to put up with that stuff anymore. No. Think about it. When two people come together as a partnership or a romantic relationship, you bring in two sets of ideas and two values and two incomes. You're bringing a chance that both of them can multiply and be so much more. if the foundation is right.
Right.
Foundation starts with the critical questions of a romantic relationship. The critical questions. What are some of the questions that you need to ask? What are some of the questions that you need to ask in a relationship? I'm glad you guys mentioned that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the critical questions.
Yes.
And if you have your handout, that's in the chat, we're on the second page of it. The second page of it, we're
I
asking
don't have it.
what.
Me either.
It's in the chat.
Nobody have it. It's in the chat.
Scroll up in the chat. It's right at the very beginning.
And what we did, we put it there for you because this is how me and Glenda, we counsel people when they come to us and about ready to get serious about the relationship. And they ask, would we talk to them, or they ask that can they sit down with us for a few minutes and discuss a relationship in detail and ask us for some guidance. And these are some of the things that we talk to them about. And we got there. As a matter of fact, we've got where we counsel Sarah and Michael. And you see the results of the counsel with Sarah and Michael. And it's really light. It's nothing really heavy, but it did answer all the questions that need to be answered. It gave them something to think about. It gave them a better roadmap and a better vision for their future. Because like God said, without a vision,
people perish.
A relationship perish too. Believe me, they perish too. So you got to have a vision for your relationship, and you got to have shared values. Got to be mutual respect. Yes. These are the cornerstones of relationship. Because if you've been in a marriage 5, 10, 8 years and realize you made a mistake when you first got married 18 years ago, you can't recoup that time. There's a place in the Bible that said the days are evil. You know, if you've been in a marriage that long, you know the days were evil. Okay, but we're not talking about that right now. This is not a sermon. This is talking about relationships now. Now, let's go. The very first thing that we asked you about. What are the non-negotiables in a relationship?
Hey, Rufus.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry to cut across you, but can I say something before you go into that?
Please do.
Okay, so at one point we were talking about what's a keeper, what is your keeper, or what is your flight mode or something like that. I think this is something to think about because this is something that's important to me. Let's say all our things were in line and everything was going well or whatever, and we have certain situations. It matters to me the tone that my partner addressed me with when we're talking or when we're communicating with each other. Sometimes try to get a point across, or you can say something that can belittle me, or it makes me feel like you're trying to belittle me, or you're trying to be so irate, or how you're addressing me, whatever it is we're trying to get across. That's, to me, is a very negative, and I'm going to fly on that, because with that, when you belittle me, I'm ready to attack you too. I don't think we're going to have an even point in here, because we're going to now become cats. We're going to have a fight. And it's going to be a dog or what it's going to be. So that is a food for me. And I think that's something that relationships should address.
Back up on your mic.
Yes.
Get excited. You're talking to Mike.
Oh.
Hear you. So back up a little bit and start over again. So because you're saying some gems now. We need all of this.
Start over again. What the world?
No, start over again.
Okay, I just said
middle way.
Okay, I said, to me, that's a flight mode for me. You know, when you belittle me, or you're not addressing me as an adult first, we have lost courtesies for each other. And when we lose that, for me, I'm ready to fight you. You want to fight me, I'm ready to fight you. I don't care who's gonna win or who's gonna lose. I'm ready to throw a lick. That, and I think so in relationships, I think respect on our tones or how we address whatever our concerns or situations are with each other matters.
Yeah.
That's it.
Can y'all hear me?
We're gonna jump on that. Go ahead, Angela, because I know I can hear you in the background.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's right, your tone. You know, that's very important, because you're ready to go tick for tat when you know.
Yeah, there you go.
When your tone is out of line. We still got to have that due respect for one another.
That's right.
can I say
It's
something?
not what you say, it's how you say it.
Okay, Sharon, go ahead, Sharon. Let Sharon have the floor. Have the floor, Sharon. Go ahead.
Okay, now with me, it's totally opposite. I don't care about the tone in which they're speaking or what they're saying because I'm only going to take in what I want to take in. To me, it's a matter of what position are you putting yourself in? Are you putting yourself in more of an authority role than I am? Or are you putting yourself in a role that, you know, or saying like what you say counts and I don't have an opinion or whatever? That's what matters to me. Because
You both in relationship coaching, we call that mutual respect. You gotta have mutual respect for each other. You don't have the mutual respect, you don't have nothing but chaos. And the relationship can't go any further because you're working against each other. You like, you know, when you're rowing, we got a boat and you on one end putting a hole in it and the other person trying to row and the boat is going under. And that's what happened. So this is something you need to talk about in the first stages of the relationship. Because in that third stage of relationship, that adjustment stage, going to uncertainty stage, you got to make a decision whether this relationship goes forward or this relationship stop right there. And this is when you try to find that tone and that respect from, and who's going to have control and all that stuff, how you guys going to handle the relationship together. You try to find that out in the very beginning of the relationship. Because if you don't ask those questions, haven't worked out right then, when you get further up the road and you find out this joker, whether it's a female joker or male joker, start cussing at you and start talking all crazy and the tone goes up and you trying to be understanding, you bent over backwards and compromise all you can, and they just are fussing and cussing and you just know you gave them everything, including the farm and the kitchen sink, and they still don't understand. Yeah, then you in a problem. You at a problem. Right. You're at a crossroad. You're at a point in that relationship. It can't go any further. And these things have to be. You have to first get to that. You have to have first discovered who that person was in that second stage, which is the uncertainty stage, when you have to kind of like investigate them and see who this true person you got. Kind of uncover some of their faults and flaws. Because if you don't do that in that stage, when you get to the next stage, when you start adjusting your lifestyle behind them and being a part of them, and Lord have mercy, if you get that fifth stage where you get it and you in this relationship full force and you haven't done your homework to make sure that you have the right person, oh, you get to catch what they call hell. Yeah. You don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. And we're talking about finances. We are talking about finances. We're talking about physical things too. A lot of times when you get a relationship, a lot of times you don't find out their medical history until it's too late.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's right.
Those are some things to talk about too. You know, you gotta know what you sign up for.
Yes.
Because if you
at our age now, that is very important.
Whole package. Yes. You're gonna have some trouble. You're gonna have some. Because my thing is this. We all human. We all have frail bodies. We get sick and we need help. And sometimes we have to get in a caregiver state. When that happens, if we've loved each other and you hadn't hidden anything, no problem. Hey, better for worse. This is the part I signed up for. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna be your caregiver. I'm gonna do all I can to walk you through the things. But if this is something I don't know, and you knew you had this 5 years before we got married or got together, we got some issues. We might need to readdress some things. And that's why being honest and being truthful makes all the difference in the world.
Right. That's why you come to the table with it all out. And then make an intelligent decision how you're going to move.
Yes. I tell you what, let's talk about that secret part. Because also last week we were supposed to cover secrets. How do you handle secrets in a relationship? In a partnership or relationship, especially a romantic relationship, how do you address secrets? Anybody want to share how they have addressed their secrets in the past or how we should handle that? Any thoughts before I weigh in?
I say this and that. I say keep them secrets to yourself. Because the bottom line to it is a secret, and it's a secret for a reason. Those secrets have a way of, once they're revealed, you can't take them back. No. And then it's a matter of you now having to explain or apologize, or somebody can say, oh, I can keep that secret. They can't keep that secret. You keep it. You keep it.
No. Well, okay. Listen.
Wait, before you talk, Angela, let's make Anna clarify. Is this secret
Okay.
before you got married in a relationship or during a relationship or marriage? And it makes a very important difference here.
Either way, it's a secret. Keep it.
Hey, then okay, Angela, go ahead. Dive in.
Okay. Well. Okay. I hear you, but when you sit back and look at it, God gives us directions for that. He says there's nothing here that won't be revealed. There's nothing covered that I'm not going to make known. Have I not said it? Will I not do it? If we believe God's word, it's going to happen. It's going to come out. He's going to pull it back. He's going to reveal even our deepest secrets.
No, he might loosen you up your heart to make you want to tell it. But I say keep it.
I think it depends on if it's a deal breaker for the relationship.
Yeah.
That's my personal belief. If it's a deal breaker for the relationship, I think that you should be forthcoming with, that particular child support telling. I think you need to, let it be known up front, because you have to know things before you progress to the next level in your relationship. And some secrets that are found out later on in your relationship, it can destroy the relationship. And when you think about it, once you're 3 to 5, maybe 10 years in, it's like, what do you do? I mean, you're all in most of the time. Your feelings are in there. If you haven't been physical with the other person, you're thinking about it, but it could be a deal breaker if you don't share it with the person and they find out another way from another relative, another mutual friend, or if it comes up later within the relationship. I just really depends on if it pertains to the relationship, the secret needs to be told. But if it's not anything that's gonna be a deal breaker, keep it to yourself. It doesn't have anything to do with them, so why would you share it?
Well, how would you know that it's a deal breaker if you're not giving that person the opportunity to say what I think may not be a deal breaker may be a deal breaker for somebody else?
Well, I do understand that part, but I mean, if
Let's put an example to it.
You said let's put a what to it?
An example, because the more we talk, this example keeps popping in my head. If I get into a marriage with somebody, we're supposed to be honest, you put something on the table, but you had a dark secret, and you tell me 5 years into the marriage, you like men and women. Ha! I'm out.
Oh.
That, to me, that would be a deal breaker.
That is a deal breaker. It would be.
I just gave an example. It don't have to be that. It don't have to be that extreme, because I could have gotten sick in the process of that.
That's right.
That's just one example. I think that's an extreme one.
And child support.
Angela, I got that's not extreme. That's happening a lot more than we realize.
I know that it is.
A lot more than we realize, Angela. From my studies, that's happening a lot more than we realize.
It is happening.
But she was stating that is a deal breaker for her.
There is a lady that has a book. She was a first lady. Her husband was a pastor. And that's her book story. That's the story of her book. So that's real stuff. This is real. You just brought up a real point. And
I know that it is real, but I mean, for some people, that's a deal. That's an absolute deal breaker. Right. I mean, because how could you lose not just the physical aspect, but you lose trust.
Right.
I'm with my buddies, really.
And you being behind in your child support, like you're in the arrears. I think that's a deal breaker, because that messes with the finances in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what?
Who's that?
I hear this is Annette. I hear you, ladies, and I understand where you're coming from. My thing of it is if you haven't had a sex change, if you've had a sex change, that's something you tell me. That has to be revealed. Anything beyond that, as far as I'm concerned, best keep it a secret. And whatever comes out later in life, we deal with it if we have to, but I don't care. Only deal breaker would be the fact that you're not a female or you're not a male. And you weren't born what you're portraying yourself to be. Other than that, I say keep the secret.
You a strong woman.
Well, you know, there's both sides. You know, it's once again, it's what you and your relationship, you and your partner agree on. There's no wrong.
Right.
There's no right or wrong here. It's what you and your partner agree on.
Right.
And it has to be what you and your partner agree on.
Right.
It can't be one agree and one don't agree. You and your partner have to agree on.
Right.
When we canceled Sarah and Mike, we asked that exact question. And we asked them, we say, hey, absolutely, let's address the topic of secrets. And Mike and Sarah said, how do you handle that in your relationship? And Sarah answered first. Sarah said, honestly, non-negotiable for us. We agreed that keeping secrets erode trust. So we make a conscious effort to be transparent with each other, especially when it comes to sensitive topics. And then Mike chimed in and Mike says, trust is the fundamental of our love. And we nurture it by open and honest and being truthful with each other, no matter how difficult. And that's what they told us out of their relationship. And they allowed us to share that with you. So with them, it's a non-event. They tell it all.
Right.
And that once again, that's how they do their relationship, their partnership.
Okay.
Right. I when I was married, I had a problem. I told on my own self. I couldn't keep it. I was like an old refrigerator. Got in more trouble. My wife would look in my eyes. I said, I was no good. So
you are a great communicator.
No, I didn't want to tell when it came out.
Yeah, because you're a great communicator.
I didn't want to tell. So hey. I tell you, I just gave it up. I didn't want to tell. All right, let me ask these questions. Anything else on that before we go into these new questions? Because I got to ask these questions before we close out tonight. Ready? The first question. What are some of your non-negotiables in a relationship? What are some non-negotiables? Okay, Annette said one. Annette said if you were born a male or female and you had a sex change and she was going to marry you based on what she saw versus what you were. So that's a deal breaker. Okay. Well, any other deal breakers? Any other deal breakers?
Andre say bad breath is a non-negotiable.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it? She said what?
Bad breath is a non-negotiable.
Andre said it.
Yeah, that would make you wonder, especially if you get a lot of kissing going on. That would make you think. Yep. All right. Any more?
That's for a medical issue. That's a gum issue.
Yeah. And that can be fixed.
Yeah, but I guess Andre said they might not get
I'm not sure they fix it all the way, but
yeah, I guess Andre, they're telling you go down to the doctor with them. Next. Any additional ones? Any additional ones before we move on? Okay.
Andre said HIV status is a deal breaker.
Yes, but they make great strides with HIV now because some of the things you can be undetected. They've made such great strides. So that may, that's once again, sometimes unconditional love, you guys don't understand the power of unconditional love. Sometimes unconditional love is something that can get over a lot of hurdles. All I'm saying that, unconditional love. All right, anything else before we go to number 2? Okay, how do you prioritize self-care and nurturing in a romantic relationship? How do you handle self-care? Any questions, any answers with that? How do you prioritize self-care?
I'm number one.
I think you just have to just say in I'm
go
sorry.
Ahead,
go ahead.
Annette first. Go ahead, Annette, and then you, Glenda.
I think you just have to do it. You just have to say, "This is what I have to do for myself. This is what I'm going to do for myself." Just do it.
Okay, just do it. Great answer. What were you saying, Glenda?
I said that I'm a priority at all times. I come first because I'm no good.
Go ahead.
I'm no good to anybody if I'm at 50% or 25%.
I think that goes to the old adage, how can you pour from an empty cup? You have to first make sure your cup is full so you can pour. So
That's right. And then I watch how much I pour into that other person.
Wait a minute.
Right.
See, Glenda, you done messed it up. You done threw something bad on the end of that. That wasn't meant that way, Glenda. But okay. All right. But that's how you do that. That's self-care. Self-care is very important. How can you pour from an empty cup? So that's very, very important. Now, I remember I had a girlfriend that whenever she went and got her nails and stuff done, she took me right with her. I put my feet up there and it did my feet too. So that was good. So that was, I appreciated her for doing that. That was awesome. Okay. All right. Next question. In what ways can we challenge traditional gender roles within a relationship? It used to be husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. How can we challenge that? What are some of the things we can do now? How can we challenge that now?
I'm not sure I understand that. I'm not sure I understand that. What does that mean?
Again, I'm gonna make it a little different. In what ways can we challenge traditional gender roles within a relationship? What it's saying, it used to be the man used to be the head of the relationship. He made all the decisions. The wife or the girlfriend was submissive and she followed the lead. And she followed her husband or boyfriend's lead. Is that still current today, or that needs to be changed or looked at differently?
Looked at differently.
Explain.
What we decided together. Yeah.
Explain. Care to share, Angela?
Well, that communicating, you may want to do something and I'm not into that. Or maybe we can come halfway, meet halfway.
And this day and time, and Angela brought a big thing, this day and time, ladies are stronger, smarter now. As if you look at some jobs, ladies are CEOs and leaders, and ladies are making some great strides in the workforce now and in our society now. So I know if a lady is smarter than me in finance, if she's smarter than me in planning, organization, I'd be a fool to try to say, let me manage the money when I know she's so much better. A lot of ladies in the past have shrunk or played down because they didn't want their husband or boyfriend to seem stupid or dumb or not as intelligent because they had the knowledge and he didn't. So they just played under him. They just would not excel or show, let their greatness or gifts known. And that was wrong. So if you have the gift and you the lady, you got the gift, or you the man got the gift, whoever has the gift, let's play to their strengths. That's what this is saying now. Let's use if you're stronger, why suffer trying to make me in charge when I'm the dummy?
Okay.
You one got all the sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying like that, hey, but whoever had the ability, let that ability come forward, march forward. I'll take orders from you, Glenda.
That's the part that comes in about our partnership, you both working together. He may be better with the handyman work in the house, and you may be better with cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids, but you both work together to pull off the whole job all in itself. It's not, right. This is just not for a man, I can call the handyman, but, I'll let you take care of that. You can go get the cars tuned up and have the oil changed, tires rotated, and, I'll make the appointment. But I think we all need to work together, to some degree, because I was always taught the man was the head of the household. Never let a man feel less than what he really is. I do prefer a man that's the head and that's someone that can stay in charge and take charge, but don't discount me or don't take my comments and my suggestions into play when it comes time to make a big decision, because it's not just your money, it's our money. So if everything falls apart, it's not just going to affect you, it's going to affect the whole house.
Right. That sounds good.
Good. And were you going to say something more than that, Anna?
No, I liked what she said. I liked the way she put it. Yeah, I like that.
For instance, I'm a kind of guy that, hey, look, if something break on the car or something break in the house, I'm going to go find the man or the mechanic or the roofer or whoever that know how to do it. When I've had girlfriends in the past, they said, no, let me get a hammer and nail. Or they get up and they want to change some oil. that ain't who I am. I believe in paying somebody, but they want to do it. They said we can save that money. So hey, have at it.
Well, if that's her choice, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But not all relationships is like that, because I'm not changing my oil type. I
But
will call AAA in a heartbeat.
is there any ladies on this line that would change their oil or pick a hammer and nail up and fix something in the house?
No.
I will
Sure
fix
will.
something up in my house. I will fix something in my
No.
house.
Sure will. Who's that? Sure.
Ava said that.
Who said that?
Ava did.
Awesome. See, right there. That's one. And if she
Shit,
had a man,
my ex-husband, he taught me how to change my own tire. I know how to change tires.
Oh, sure.
That's all right.
Matter of fact, I'm a single mom. I taught my sons how to do it too.
Amen. They're gonna be ready.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's the traditional roles. If there's no set norm today. It's what you and your partner agree on.
Absolutely.
And when you close it out, we get to that point. Any question before we start closing this out? Angela, did we clear up this topic? This topic clear now?
Much clearer, except for the first one coming out of the gate. If you were in a relationship, let's say you weren't married, and one of the individuals passed, there's some legal ramifications to that, because the children do have the say so over a living companion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's very important. If you're a long-term relationship, because I think when we started last week, we talked about some people wanted to shack, some people said they never shack, and we got into a controversy that out of the gate last Sunday. If you stay with a person and you're not married, and you live with this person, you and them buy a house together, you and them accumulate a lot of assets in that relationship, and one of you die, if you don't have the right systems in place, the children of the person died can come in and take everything that person had his name on, he or she had her name on, because that's the way it's set up.
Absolutely. Some legal ramifications to that.
Yes. So please, if you in a relationship with somebody and you and them start accumulating things and stuff, you and them need to sit down and figure that out. Even if it's a will or if it's some type of trust or however you work it out legally, you need
beneficiary papers and all of this.
Yes, you need
name on what, because it's a mess. And y'all could have had a house together, but if the children come in and says, no, you've got to go, and it wasn't set in place, then you got to go. I had a neighbor that happened to. So she had to get her happy butt from New York back to Virginia.
Just think, if you and your boo had this house, y'all brought it together, and y'all were there, or he brought or she brought, and you live with them, you pay, and you figure that, you pay this. Let's say, for instance, this gentleman had this house, and you and him went in together, and your credit could have been messed up at the time. His credit was straight, so you put it in his name, and you guys lived there, and you helped him pay the bills and all that, and this went on for 5 to 10 years, and then he died, and you paid all that money. That's your house. You're going to say, hey, we're going to continue. When he died, after the funeral, you come home and you shut the door and you go in there, and then you're going to cry and be in your own house, and then somebody knock at the door and say, hey, ma'am, you got to leave. This is my dad's house.
Right. So you got to take care of that. Even on your job. I remember working in the school system, and they says, we're trying to tell all the employees, because whoever name is down for beneficiary, if it's an X and you have not taken it off, then everything goes to the X. We can't get in the midst of the drama, because we're telling you now, get your paperwork lined up with your beneficiary.
Well, mothers.
That's the first thing you got to take.
Well, mothers, we're going to close this out. So again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Glad to have you here. And if you're a praying grandmother, thanks for establishing that legacy in your family. We're happy to have you here tonight to share your time with us. Look forward to seeing you next Sunday night at 9. Also, by this Wednesday, we will have this and maybe about 15 other of our Sunday Nights Alive will be on YouTube. They'll be on YouTube. So you'll be able to see the night and a few of them other nights on YouTube, and it's going to be Sunday night at 9, and you can see us on YouTube. The YouTube channel is called Reset to Relationship. Reset to Relationship is the name of the channel, and you'll see this one as well as about 10 or 15 more of the other ones on YouTube. Our thing is that Sunday night we record, and Wednesdays we're going to start showing them on YouTube. Once again, thank you for your time. See everybody next week. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good night.
night.
Good night.